Oklahoma is losing some of its best and brightest as college graduates take their degrees and skills to other states. But as Jason Doyle reports, efforts are underway to reverse that trend.
4 of the last 5 years, a familiar trend has reemerged in Oklahoma, a brain drain. People with college degrees or certificates leaving the state more than they're coming to the state. It's one of the latest findings by the Oklahoma City branch executive of the Federal Reserve Bank, Chad Wilkerson.
Probably the technical definition would be more college graduates moving out of your area than moving in. And we've been experiencing that now for the last 5 years in Oklahoma.
The number of graduates leaving Oklahoma each year are greater in number than those walking across the stage each year at the state's major universities.
The number moving out each year is greater than the number that graduate from either OU or OSU each year.
They're leaving for places like Texas, Colorado, Arkansas, and Washington State, many attracted by the jobs and lifestyles offered by places like Dallas. But this brain drain in Oklahoma is a little different than the previous period of outflow.
It was from 03 to 07, so about 10 years ago. And similarly then, more of the flow was to Texas than to other places. But as I mentioned, more of that flow was for the more advanced degrees, master's degrees, doctorate degrees, whereas this one has included more bachelor's degrees.
The outflow trend could expose Oklahoma's workforce to trouble because most of those leaving are prime working age. The brain drain could affect the quality of workforce in Oklahoma.
If you have more college graduates move out than move in, your relative educational attainment as a state diminishes compared to other states. And we've seen continued modest growth in educational attainment as Oklahoma residents gain more education, but our growth has been less than in the nation.
Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell calls the current brain drain an opportunity for the state.
That gives us an opportunity to really look and evaluate where we are with our education system, K through 12, higher ed, and career tech, which is a big part of that solution, in my opinion.
Bringing the role players together is important to address the issue.
That's also something that we're doing inside the Department of Commerce, is putting a uniform branding campaign together for workforce.
Opportunities to create businesses in Oklahoma should also be a factor in the branding campaign to retain graduates.
My wife and I run a small business in the state of Oklahoma. We weren't really sure where we could go for startup cash. Getting into an accelerator. The state of Oklahoma does need to, again, make sure that we have a branding campaign and a marketing campaign to make sure that we tell those young entrepreneurs and those kids about to graduate the opportunities in the state.
Pinnell says his team is talking to Oklahomans who have left to see what can be learned.
And we're doing a lot of interviews with expats, as we call them. Again, people that go to another state, why they left, and would they like to come back. A lot of them, they tell us they would love to come back.
One of those Oklahomans who did come back is Terrence Burton. He grew up in the Pottawatomie County area, but in the 1980s, work called him away from Oklahoma.
After graduation, I ended up landing a job with the Great American Shoe Store, Kenny Shoes. Became a manager over on Western when it was there, and got promoted to the corporate office in Manhattan, New York.
Burton is a foster parent who took in 8 kids while living in New Jersey. 3 of them moved to Oklahoma with him. Part of the reason why his family moved back to Oklahoma was to help his mother, but there was another reason why Oklahoma became more attractive than the Garden State.
There's the property taxes in New Jersey. We were living on a lot around 110 feet by 170 feet, and we were paying $13,000 a year in property tax.
While it took some getting used to, Burton and his family are glad to be in Oklahoma.
Well, it's a big change. We're going from city life to country life again. Our kids absolutely love it here. It's the environment here is just it's more nurturing. It's more friendly, honestly, for kids.
Currently, one of his sons, who still lives in New Jersey, is trying to make his way to Oklahoma, and the possibility looks pretty good because the Sooner State has attracted businesses like Amazon to set up here.
We actually have a son that works for Amazon, and he's actually put in for a transfer for the new facility that's opening up by Will Rogers Airport. So he's actually he's in the process of trying to relocate here as well.
Even as it appears more Oklahomans with degrees are leaving, there are silver linings, according to Wilkerson.
One is that the net outflow has diminished the last couple of years from its peak a few years ago. Another one I think might just be that we're not alone in this, so it's not necessarily a unique Oklahoma situation.
He says Kansas, Missouri, and New Mexico are also seeing more of their homegrown graduates leave. I'm Jason Doyle for the Oklahoma News Report.